This is TWiT.
Data is currency in this day and age, and that means that using a lot of data when you're out and about could translate into a deep hole in your pocket. Google knows this, and recently, somewhat silently, they released an app that might help you to rein in your data allowance on Android devices. The app is called Datally, and on its surface, it's a bit of an extension of the data saver feature that you might have found in your settings. It already exists on most current versions of Android. Datally is all about giving you controls over what kind of data consumption those apps that you have installed on your device are able to enjoy. At the heart of this deep control is this data saver slider within the app, which I'll go ahead and slide to on. And in doing so, Datally is activating a secure VPN on the device that allows the app to analyze and restrict data access to any apps on the device, and you can choose what those apps are. This is not a traditional VPN. So in other words, no data from your device is being rerouted to any external servers. It's all happening on your device in order to aid with analysis of what your apps are actually doing. With Data Saver active, you can then choose which apps have data access and which ones are cut off, at least for the time being. Tapping the lock next to the apps in the list that you see here, that's going to allow you to toggle those states very easily and on the fly. And up top, you can see an easy-to-read graph that kind of illustrates the data consumption that's taking place on that device and how much total data was consumed at those times. It even ties into your data allowance with your carrier if you give it access to your phone number. If I'm ready to let my apps fly free of all of these restrictions, I can simply toggle the data saver back to off, and my phone is back to its unrestricted data habits. All that data flows freely. Datally also has this button to find Wi-Fi, which is kind of curious. It uses your current location to scan for known free Wi-Fi hotspots in your local area. You might have to drive to Starbucks or maybe walk a block to log into a free access point, but it's yet another way that you can avoid spending your mobile data allowance by opting instead for publicly accessible and free Wi-Fi. This is actually similar to what Google's own Project Fi devices do dynamically to help Fi users save on their own data consumption. Datally is part of Google's ongoing efforts to provide low data, low bandwidth options for many of its own services and apps, and it could come in very handy, particularly when you're traveling outside the country. This is one example. I'm Jason Howell, and you can find my Android reviews on All About Android and discussions with people who are making and breaking tech news each and every week on Tech News Weekly.